So, I talked about areas of where is the area to look after? I mean, where are the growth areas? Because for business innovation, we try to look into an area which is growing. It doesn't make sense to invest in an area which is dying, right? I mean, coal mining in Germany doesn't have a future. Not yet, perhaps perhaps one day, but right now, no more, right? So we're looking at, of course, in trends. What are the big mega trends? Yeah. So one, of course, is urbanization. So the increase of world population to 9.3 billion by 2050. Already 50% of the people in the world do not live in cities, and rural, but they live in cities. 50%, over 50% of world population live in cities. So as a company for manufacturing cars, that's a challenge, because you simply don't have the space to drive. It comes, housing prices, of course, are rising. Rent, Taipei is I think a great example. Kaohsiung is picking up now, so of course in the world, go to Beijing or Shanghai, it's amazing. Huh? The planning cycles have become shorter in general, yeah, through globalization. I think you feel that in your industries. Again, we still have the luxury to take 7 years to produce a new Mercedes S-Class, but who knows in the future. This is, of course, something which affects our core business extremely, is the density of traffic. And of course, with China, there's a huge issue. So in Beijing, for example, 2 years ago, they could register 750,000 cars, and they cut down to 250,000 cars by lottery. Take a lottery. Do you have any example of Singapore? How Singapore regulates traffic or registration?
Same as Beijing.
Yeah, auction. Auction. They do auction. Yeah. So you have to auction the CIU, the Certificate of Entitlement, COE, the Certificate of Entitlement. So it can cost you 10,000 Sing dollars or 20,000 Sing dollars. It depends on market and demand. So cities are trying to find ways how to manage this topic, because it's right. I mean, also Beijing with the license plate, equal and even license plate, which days, yeah. So, and of course, this is a threat to a car maker. Yeah, and this is also, of course, another way, so through registration or by charging congestion charges, like in London, right? You pay, I think, £8, huh? Singapore, you have the ERP, huh? To go into Singapore. In Amsterdam, you pay €5 per hour for parking. Yeah. And you have restricted zones. So you cannot even go into the city with certain car issues. Yeah? If your car does not have environmentally sound engines. Yeah? Who knows, perhaps some countries might restrict combustion engine cars to go into the city. They might only allow electric cars come into the city. So governments and political action is already increasing a lot. There's a lot of power in crowdsourcing and Facebook and all these topics where there's a lot of political power now in the crowd to create pressure on local governments. In Germany, after Fukushima, we cancel our atomic policy. I mean, this is something which is very drastic. Yeah. So this is something which is, of course, for us a very big issue as a car manufacturer. But still, you have to be mobile, because with house prices increasing, people very often have to live further outside or further away from where they work. So it's in contradiction to the congestion. So there's a higher need of mobility, but housing prices are increasing and they live farther outside. So there's a lot of conflicts there to be solved. And of course, mobility, Daimler, having the tradition, we of course say that we need to do something about this. Of course, scarcity of resources, so energy and the consumption of energy. And of course, which has increased a lot is the whole issue about global communication. Yeah, the digital media. I mean, most probably Taiwan has one of the highest coverage of mobile phones in the world, huh? Smartphones. I mean, and this is something which creates, of course, new industries, right?